Yeah, I don't know why you would put it in F tier. I think TB500 is pretty damn good. TB500 is seems to be a little bit better at sort of traveling around the body, going systemically to any kind of tissue. We don't know definitely yet whether it's going to have massive improvements on like organ health and that tissue repair. It probably does. Who knows? I don't know. But as far as sort of systemic inflammation and the benefits that it has, it travels pretty freely. I think that's a really good thing, whereas BPC 157 is typically going to be done more locally towards a specific injury. And in relation to Crohn's disease, I don't know why this is even considered in the conversation with Crohn's disease. I don't think that really has anything to do, not that I'm aware of, I don't think there's any correlation there at all. As far as Crohn's disease is concerned, like that's a gut-related autoimmune disease, right? So, I mean, if there's been damage done at the gut, like an oral BPC 157 during the repair process might be beneficial. If maybe TB 500 as a bit of an anti-inflammatory, potentially, but I'm not sure on that. I haven't read up on whether TB 500 has any specific inputs for Crohn's, not that I'm aware of, apart from just, like I said, apart from maybe just systemic inflammation control. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't put it as F tier. I don't know why anyone's putting anything in fucking tiers, to be honest. Everyone is different. Everyone has different responses. I've seen some people put all kinds of different these tier lists are fucking bullshit, guys. If it works really well for you, that's all that you should be concerned about. Yeah, I think the original tier list was actually Steve, Kurt, and Dr. Dean. I just like, you heard some people say, oh yeah, Primo's A tier or whatever, S tier, and Master's like C tier. For one person that might be true, for another person it could be the complete opposite. Now, if you're just looking at like molecular weight of certain things and blah blah blah, in theory, on paper, which one should be better? Sure, but that's, you know, not going to be applicable for a lot of people. You have to go through that process of figuring out really what is best for you, and yeah, and that's it. That's all you should be concerned with. So things in a tier list, take it with a pinch of salt. I wouldn't be letting that influence your decisions. Your decisions should be based on a lot more than a YouTube tier list. Come on, time to get some steps, boy, you lazy little bugger. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, like tier lists. It's like putting exercises in tier lists, right? It's just every single person is built completely different. So there are no rules. There are no set rules to exercise selection, exercise order, any of that stuff. It's all very, very nuanced, and you should take it all with a pinch of salt. Especially with training as well. Well, I say especially with training, especially with like medications and things, of course. But with training specifically, this idea you have to train certain exercises in certain orders. Guys, as long as you're absolutely crushing your training with good technique and intensity, you're fine. I had this conversation with Yina on a YouTube video, which just went up on YouTube last night, so head over there, have a look. Here's the link. But essentially, like we were talking about her exercise selection, what feels good for her, and then she was like, and some people told me I should do this, or I shouldn't do that, or I shouldn't do this, and I said, look at your legs. You've got ridiculous quads. What feels best? Does it fit? And she's like, well, you know, I like to do leg extensions before I do my, you know, hack squats or squat patterns. And I'm like, okay. She's like, some people told me that I should do those last, because I'm wasting energy before I do the main big compound movements. And I'm like, that doesn't fucking matter at all. If your hack squats, your squat patterns feel better because you did leg extensions first, then you're making them more effective. The stimulus is better. Why would you change that? The overall volume and work done is still the same at the end of the day. Very, very... Come on, cat, bloody hell. Very, very nuanced stuff. And it gets a little bit silly, these conversations. If you were to take someone who did the same 5 leg exercises with exactly the same volume, the same intensity, the same progressions, everything was exactly the same, the exact same person, twin DNA, and you made both of those people train with that program for 6 months. One person had one exercise selection in a different order, but the overall total workload done was the same. I would put money on it that there would be fuck all difference in the end result. I would, because just look at the history of bodybuilding, the results there. It just comes back to this, like, everything works. You do what feels best for yourself, what works best for yourself, and you go from there. This idea, oh, come on, Lala. Little bugger. So yeah, it's one of them, like, and this is why a lot of the times you'll see some people just have a shitty time with blueprint styles of training. Like, someone might start someone off with a basic sort of template blueprint that they think might fit, but very, very quickly those adjustments based on real-time feedback should be made, and then very, very quickly you should find yourself in a position where what once started out as a template or a blueprint, I don't like the word blueprint, but some people do use just copy and paste blueprint bullshit, and they wonder why it doesn't work for everyone. And then you'll see that ex-coach have a couple of really good highlight reel clients, and they use those blueprints with everyone, and most people fall off. But anyway, that's before, I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, that template that you started with should very, very quickly evolve into a very bespoke, very custom plan, like with everything on that plan should probably end up being tweaked just a little bit for your individual needs. And that is usually the case within a week or two in most cases, and then definitely inside of a month. Once you've got enough check-in data, enough biofeedback, that should be pretty much dialed in. And then from that point out, changes on plans should be very, very minimal, just based on whatever process you're in at the time. I mean, changes might be a little bit more frequent in a prep scenario, in a rebound scenario where you're really sort of auto-regulating on the go based on feedback. But when you're locked into a phase, changes are minimal. You're so loud. You're so loud. Come on, we're almost back. Let's go. So yeah, that's actually something a lot of coaches struggle with. I coach some coaches, and they're like, what do you do when someone checks in and everything's just kind of perfect and you don't need to change anything, you don't really need to go into detail on anything, and like your check-in ends up just being like a couple of minutes on a Loom video, just basically saying, yeah, everything's great, keep going. Now, I get why that might make you feel a bit guilty, like, oh, and some people, what they'll want to do is they'll want to make some changes anyway, just to feel like they've had some valuable input, and to keep the client kind of thinking that you're doing something. Your value is in that your programming is so good early on that you don't have to make those changes later on. That's the gold. If you don't have to make many changes, you've done a great job. And that's the fact of it. There will be times where you need to be on top of stuff and communicating a lot more. There will be times where you are making a lot more changes. But in general, let's just say you're in a really good, solid off-season growth phase. Hello, Mimi. Say hello to your brother. These two. If you're in a really locked-in, dialed-in growth phase, week to week, minimal changes. Like, I'll go weeks and weeks and weeks without making a single change. And those check-in videos basically go, hey man, everything's perfect here, everything's dialed in, this is the perfect rate of growth, we have no signs of any insulin resistance, we have no red flags anywhere across the board, your body is responding very well to everything we're doing. Check up on the recovery metrics and volume and things, maybe there's some inputs there. And that's it, it's like, keep going. This is bodybuilding, like locking in, consistency, monotony, that's it. And that's the bloody hard part for both coach and client. Because for coach, you really, you want to do more, because you don't want to, you're like, oh, I'm charging this person money, you know, what do I need to do? Like, your overall management on making sure that off season stays on track and absolutely dialed in, checking all health metrics and stuff along the way, it still takes time. There's still open communication. There's still video back and forward videos for training to make sure execution and stuff is dialed in. There's still stuff going on, but like, your check-ins might be short and sweet. That's because you've done a great coaching job. You shouldn't feel guilty about that, and you just need to communicate that with the client. Like, it looks like this. It's not changing much because it's nailed. This is perfect. And then you have to explain that off seasons, this is where most people quit and drop off because of the following reasons. And most people do drop off in these phases because they are so repetitive. Nothing really exciting is happening apart from you're just week by week adding this little sort of half a pound of body weight, and you're like, is that it? Pound, half a pound, whatever it is. Guys, you add that shit up, half a pound to a pound a month or whatever, doesn't sound like a lot. Add it up. A full off season goes by. You're 5 to 10 pounds of lean tissue up. I guarantee you one thing, that 5 to 10 pounds completely changes your physique on stage. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of tissue added. And for some people, they'll add it a bit quicker. You might be able to accumulate more in little rebound phases, for sure. There's times where it might be a little bit more exciting than others, but that just week by week locked in off-season phase, it is boring, and that's where people drop off, but that's also where physiques are built. So my advice for you in those situations is just keep reminding yourself of that end goal, what you're going to look like, these hard, boring, repetitive times, what that's going to translate to on stage. Like, that, it's going to be worth it. It will really be worth it. And oh, look at these two. We've got a new little white one chasing Go-Go. Have you got a new friend? Hey, you got a little gammy leg. If only life was as easy as that, huh? Go-Go does the same thing every day and he's happy as hell. But yeah, this is why bodybuilding, you gotta love it. You have to love that process, the repetitiveness of it, that really locked in. When you understand all the metrics you're looking at and you see them progressing very slowly, you gotta love that. And if you do love that, and it's and you're really dialed in, you know, 20 weeks can fly by pretty quickly, and before you know it, you're like, holy shit, off season complete. I gained a shitload of muscle. I'm ready to prep again. And then the exciting stuff happens, right? In prep, lots of changes happen. Physically, body fat comes off pretty quick. You know, if you're a little bit later into your bodybuilding career and you've got a lot of muscle on you, you're likely able to grow a little bit leaner, so you can kind of see those off-season changes a little bit more pronounced than earlier stages in your career where body fat accumulation is a little bit higher. But over the years, the more muscle you grow, the easier it is for you to stay lean while you grow. Maybe you just genetically have a great metabolism and body fat accumulation isn't a big deal. It's not something to run away from either way. You just need to be managed. You need to be taught. You just need to be told and guided and made to feel confident that everything is going well. And if that means your check-ins are only 2 minutes, to be like, yeah, dude, you're dialed in, everything's perfect, keep going. The line is open if you have any questions. That's basically what I do. Then great, they can just get stuck in, right? And you just keep going. There's nothing sexy about a good off-season, that's for sure. Apart from, you know, there's a lot more food, and some people love food, so that can be fun. Eventually, all of that food will probably not be fun. But again, like, you chose this sport. If you want something really exciting week to week, go and play football. You know, go and pick up a bit of pigskin, put some pads on and smash the shit out of each other. Go boxing, go do jiu-jitsu, do something more skill involved, skill related, that gives you a much more sense of leveling up very quickly. Because everyone wants to be a bodybuilder. And it's not because people don't want to lift no heavy ass weight. It's because it's, for some people, very boring after a while. Initially, it might be really exciting, really fun. You see your physique change, you see your body change. You look in the best shape you've ever been in your entire life. Your first year is this amazing transformation. It's life-changing in every way. It's amazing, it's exciting. You're getting ready to do your first show. You do all of this work, you do your first show. It's like, wow, you're on cloud nine for months and months and months. And everything's really good. And then it gets into the hard grind part of bodybuilding, where you're like, oh, wait, half the year is this, and half the year is exciting. Some people just can't deal with that, and that's where they drop off and they realize, actually, yeah, this isn't something I want to dedicate the next 5 to 10 years of my life to. I just want to kind of look a bit good forever. And that's absolutely fine. The chances are, if you do go through that process, get out of it. That big bloody cat that chases Go-Go. What do you want? You're right, Go-Go, I got you. Yeah, and some people do just want to kind of look good. They reach their like peak physical fitness in that first year, and they're like, the bodybuilding thing, I did it once, I ticked that box, it was really fun. You'll take that with you for life. It will probably change your life for a positive. Either way, there's something you will take from prep and competing that will blow your mind forever. It will make the rest of your life kind of seem easy. You'll be a lot more grateful for things, etc., etc. It's a life changer, but the need and the want to keep doing that over and over again for years and years and years, you'll just know. You won't be forced into be like, you know, I need to be forced to do it. You'll just want to do it. You'll just love it so much you'll just continue to do it. But if that ever needs to be forced, chances are it's probably not for you. It's for him. It's probably not for you, and I usually push clients into other sports that were a bit more, like I said, fulfilling, something that puts them in a position where they can learn a lot of new skills very quickly and continue to do that, and then maybe have like a very frequent end game, like a fight or a match day, a game day, or, you know, or maybe you don't need a frequent end game, but you know what I mean. Bodybuilding, a couple shows a year at the most, you know. And now you might be saying, but Aaron, you did 8 shows in 12 months. Yeah, that's because I'm a fucking idiot, guys. And I was on this other crazy journey path at this point in my career. That's not normal. Like, normally, like this year will be once, maybe twice. And yeah, and if you do just want to keep fit, you know, you want to keep yourself in shape, during all of that transformation process, your prep, your bodybuilding time, you would have learned all the tools you need, or you should have learned all the tools you need to be able to maintain a really good, healthy, great-looking physique forever. And if you didn't learn that, you weren't paying attention, or you just had blueprints that weren't really explained to you along the way, or the communication with your coach was limited or just non-existent. So yeah, anyway, I don't know, I kind of just went on a big tangent rant there, but I feel like it had some value. I need to go and give the cat some cuddles now. But yeah, nice morning, nice walk, good talk, peace. Okay, never mind, I got another question, so Go-Go can wait. Yeah, reps in reserve. Well, you're going to need to feel failure, right? So this is something, if it's an absolute beginner, I'm like, it doesn't matter too much, like, send me some videos and I will tell you like what kind of, where you are, where you're stopping right now, where you should be. And then it's a case of, over time, you will kind of just feel that. Over time, you would have done it so many times, you know where failure is, you know what 1 in reserve feels like, or 2 or reserve, or 3 in reserve. Now that 1, 2, 3 reps in reserve, honestly, it doesn't need to be like absolutely perfect accurate. It really doesn't. It's basically, what I tell people is, you got failure and then you've got a little bit before failure. Now, your first week after a deload or a rest period or something like that, I would say deliberately back off a little bit more just to ease yourself back into training. And then after that, I'm like, just don't go all the way to failure until it's the weeks where I tell you to train to failure. in which case you go all the way to failure. With good technique, you never sacrifice technique for reps, and that's that. So I've had people on video calls. One of my favorite ones was with one of my clients, Josh, who just couldn't get it. It was the idea of he was just like, is this failure? Is that failure? And some people, it just takes a long time to get there, or it's just your body is fighting you like hell to not do that if you've never done it before. And as long as I know technique and everything is safe and all of that, I'm happy to push someone to failure. But there's a build-up to that, a whole safety build-up, technique build-up before anyone should attempt failure. But what I did with him, I got on the phone with him while he was in the hack squat, and I just said, don't you fucking stop until I tell you to stop. And he just kept going and going and going until he actually hit failure. Now, once he did actually hit failure, he was like, oh, holy shit, okay, now I know where failure is. And then I said to him, now when I say 1 rep in reserve, you know, that's pretty much all the way to failure. Like, it's literally right there. There's really not much difference. You could stay at 1 rep in reserve for your entire career and be just fine. And there's even some stuff that might suggest that you'd make even better progress by not going all the way to failure all the time, leaving 1 in the tank. There's a whole discussion on that based on just overall sort of systemic fatigue build up and blah blah blah. I won't get into it. It's, again, little nuanced things. Most people do. Even the people that say they train to failure all the time, they don't. They're 1 or 2 reps in the tank. Everyone that's ever come to me and said I train hard, I train to failure all the time, they don't. A lot of people think they do, or like to think they do, and a lot of the times they've built a great physique, and I'll get into a training session with them, and I'll just watch them. I won't say when to stop. I'll say, just, go to failure and stop when you think that is. And they'll do it, and I'll be like, okay, now if I, screaming in your ear, do you think you could have got maybe like 2, maybe 3 more reps there? Maybe, and I'm like, yeah, you could have. You absolutely could have. So I'm like, and then I just say, but that's fine. You've built a great physique, leaving a couple of reps in the tank for your entire life so far. You've probably very rarely hit failure, maybe on some smaller muscle groups, or maybe every now and then, but certainly not all the time, every set, every week. I don't think I've ever seen anyone really do that on every single set, every single session, go to absolute failure. And don't say, oh, Dorian did it. No, he didn't. And it's fine. So again, it's one of those where I'm like, don't fixate on it. Like, am I 2 reps in reserve? Am I 3 reps in reserve? What I usually say is, when your reps involuntarily lose velocity, which means when they start slowing down, when they get really, really hard, and you cannot make it go faster, that's when you're getting close. That's probably a few reps in the tank from there. If your reps are still moving at the same speed when you stop, you're not near failure. If your reps, when you say you're in a leg press and you're pushing back up and then it's like, oh, that one slowed down a bit, that was hard, that's probably like 3 reps in the tank, something like that. And then you're close. And you'll know, usually, if you've done this enough times, which it does take practice. I never expect anyone to get this right first time. It takes weeks and weeks and weeks sometimes months and months, sometimes never. I've had people never reach failure. I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, once you've practiced that over and over, you know when you're in that press, you're in that whatever movement you're doing, like, I've got 1 more good rep here. And you finish that rep. Usually when you finish a rep, like, I don't have another good rep here. Like, I don't think I can safely do another good rep of good technique. You're done. That's it. You're done. That's failure. And that's where it really is. And that's just a case of time. Like I said, I've coached people for sometimes a couple of years, and their training, they just never really take themselves there, at least not on all exercises. And I don't tell people to train to failure all the time, every week. It's usually 1, maybe 2 weeks of a mesocycle that you actually go all the way to failure. And some people, only a few, but some never got there. But they were, pretty close. Like, most of the time, their standard inputs, a couple of reps short, which is absolutely fine. Guess what? They still built amazing physiques. And if anything, I could just add a little bit more volume, or I can just add in like myo sets or rest pauses just to help them get to failure with those short little clusters. And I could go on and on and on about this all day long, but you get the point. Don't fixate on it, just get close, and that's a good place to start.